In this demo, we're going to cover how to get your chair with initials and chair with name, date, and chair title into our compendium template. So at this point in time, you should have 7 pages, blank cover, and then our kinetics exercise, crops, and then the last page, the structure of letters. So just like we did with the cropping and with the kinetics, we need to add extra pages. So I'm just going to add an 8 and a page 9 for right now. And remember, if we click on both and then hit Control click, we want to override the master items. We're just going to delete this text here and here as well. We're going to go to our design and type canvas page, and the text for our studies is under Unit 2 typographic page. We're going to copy and paste the structuring a typographic page and this unit to principal. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that in place, and structuring a typographic page. So I'm going to copy and paste that in as well. So you can see that the rag for the text is pretty poor. That has to deal with extra returns in place. So what we want to do is go through, delete those returns so that we get a little bit better rag with the text. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just come in, pull it in a little tighter, get a better looking paragraph. So again, you can slightly tweak it just so it looks better, something like this. So on the first page here, I'm going to do is copy and paste just an image of the chair. This is almost like a section header or lead in to all the studies. It also will break up the rhythm of all these pages and give us a little bit of a new chapter intro. So in Illustrator, I'm just going to copy and paste one of these chairs in. You also could just import it from your actual files into InDesign. So just something simple as a lead-in will work. And then we're going to start to put our studies into place. In Illustrator, I created a version of this file with a second layer. And these are my final studies I'm going to work with. So mainly I did this because I have a lot of extra outlines and squares and things that are overlapping. And so from a production standpoint, it's kind of challenging to copy and paste these studies back and forth. So I did a little bit of pre-production in selecting the ones I want to work with, and I put them on their own layer. So it's just a little easier to do the final copy and paste into InDesign. Now all these files have the type outlined, and so if you select the type, and again if you go under type and then create outlines, or Shift Command O to create outlines of all your type. So the first step you want to do, again, before you get into InDesign and copying everything over, is making sure all your text is outlined. Secondly, try to go through and make sure that you've deleted some of the extra boxes and things if it starts to become a little bit cumbersome. Again, we want to make sure that we use a clipping mask. So for this example here, I have the chair on the outside and the type on the outside. All I have to do is come in, draw a box over what I want to cut. Make sure I don't select my black stroke boxes. Make a clipping mask, and I'm good to go to copy and paste it over to InDesign. So once I have my pre-production done, where all my type is outlined and everything is clipping masked if it needs to be, I can start to copy and paste my final designs over into InDesign. So again, if I just select it and copy, I can paste it over. Now if it happens not to be to scale, which I think this is just a little bit smaller, it's 3.73 wide by 2 inches tall. You can do is just kind of follow the guides. And scale it up in that space. So you can see I've copied 4 more of my studies into place. They naturally snap to align with one another. Again, if I hold Shift and Command, I can scale them pretty easily. And I'm just vertically scaling and centering them on the page. Again, key is alignments, correct proportion and scale so things are consistent. So again, I'm presenting the best I can. Now that I have my initials in place, I'm going to move on to our other designs with the name, date, and chair title. I'll continue to do this by going to page 12 and 13, adding those. Doing the same thing again, where we override all the items and deleting all this text. At this point I haven't saved, so it would probably be a good idea saving a new version of this template before I go any further. Probably should have done this at the beginning of the initial designs. So I'm going to just call this version 6 and save it really quickly. So I'm going to continue on. I'm just going to copy, maybe I'll group this, outline it first, and paste it over. Okay, so I have all of my designs in place now. Some of the last things you can do is, for example, if my clipping mask didn't copy over or have some technical difficulties, there's simple solutions to that. I can just put white boxes over these just like you did for Illustrator. So simple, quick solutions if things didn't quite copy over right. So again, just go through making sure everything is presenting the best it can. And the last step you want to do is come in and label what you used on each design. So again, use universe 55, and you can set this at like 8-point, 7-point type. When you align it, you can just do right justified, and then align the edge of the type with the edge of the design. So this should get all of your examples into place, and just make sure you save at the end of your design. Thanks.